Hey, Justice. Yeah, you, man.
I remember you.
Yeah.
Is that Chicago 99?
Chicago 99, fucking Windy City, man.
Mind if I take a seat?
Yeah, go ahead, man. You know, hey, now that you're here, you care if we do a little interview, you know?
We got nothing but time, man.
Cool. Well, hey, doing this podcast now. Subatomic Hero presents to you.
What's a subatomic hero?
Subatomic Hero, it's just this fucking band in Denver. Like, I guess we're both in the band, but, you know.
Well, I'm in the band?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You're in the band.
I was just walking by, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you're being voluntold.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to get paid any money. You can sleep in the trunk of the car, I guess.
I mean, if I'm in the band, I guess I gotta do the interview, right?
Yeah, and we'll feed you once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, sweet, dude. Yeah, tell me more about the subatomic hero then.
Yeah, Subatomic Hero, you know, we're just, some might say singer-songwriter, maybe math rock, maybe progressive rock, you know. And, yeah, well, there's about 6 of us. 6 of us in the band now.
Including us?
Including us,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about that. Like, let's get to the podcast. Heady Set Go. My name is Quinn. I will be your host today. Today, my guest, our interviewee here, is Justice Suina. He plays in Subatomic Hero. He plays bass in Subatomic Hero, but he also plays guitar, piano, little drums.
Little drums, yep.
And you sing a little too, right?
I can sing, yes.
Right.
I'm a baritone. Used to be in choir for a while.
Nice.
About like 5.5 years.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was also a baritone.
We were in choir together, man.
Yeah, we must have been once.
We were. We were in the same group, dude.
Fuck, well, shit,
You don't
man.
remember that?
Yeah, Justice and I, we actually went to college together down in Durango, Colorado. Fort Lewis College. Otherwise known as Fort Louis.
We were in the same frat house.
We were in the same frat house, rat house,
Yeah, we hazed each other
dat
pretty hard.
house.
Dude, that was a long time ago, man.
But yeah, we were both in the music program, and that's kind of how I know Justice. I mean, I don't think we really knew each other that much.
No, man.
We crossed paths a couple of times. Obviously, we had choir together.
Yeah, dude.
And then we have a mutual friend, Mike.
But he's off in the background somewhere. He dove in the pond a second ago.
Yeah, he went full Aquaman on us. So Mike, he kind of introduced us a little bit more, and
the rest is history.
Rest is history.
We're 9 months pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, now we got a kid coming along, and hey,
he's in the band too.
He's in the band too.
He's playing the spoons.
Yeah. You gotta have a spoon player, and there's a maximum age of like 3 months.
If you're gonna make it in this town, you gotta have those spoons.
Yeah. Denver's hard without a spoon player, man. So, anyways, Justice, you were born in Denver, Colorado, right?
I was born in Santa Fe, New Mexico, actually.
You were born in Santa Fe, okay.
And I moved here when I was about 5 years old, so I've been here for quite a number of years.
Nice.
Enough to know my way around.
Nice.
Pretty well, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So you grew up more west side of Denver?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's over in Lakewood. I don't know if the audience is familiar with the Denver area, but
Right.
Lakewood, compared in size, is pretty equal, I'd say. It's about like 10 minutes from here,
Right.
by car and everything, or 2 buses like I took today. So
Right.
it's a great area, honestly.
Yeah, you're over there. What's over there? It's like the Olinger
The mortuary.
It's like Wadsworth, right?
Yep. It's kind of strange living directly across from a cemetery.
Yeah, man. I used to, in my old band, Jade Skyline, when I used to play drums for this pop punk band, we used to have our studio used to be in Arvada, but I'd always pass the Olinger mortuary, like going all the way down to Arvada, and now I know that you're just down the street the whole time.
Yep, you can find me late at night, 2 a.m., sleepwalking through the cemetery.
Nice.
Walking through it middle of the day.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it's my the bar I call home.
Sweet, dude. So you like write your own stuff as well, right?
I do from time to time. In this crazy time, COVID and everything, writer's block's a real thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It has been throughout the years.
Okay.
But I try to put my mind to something every so often. But it's more guitar based, kind of like jazzy, lo-fi stuff.
Nice.
I've put out 2 EPs in the past. One when I was like 19. They've all been for girls. So I've never let anyone listen to them because it's pretty fucking sappy.
Right. Yeah. I think that stuff's hard to put out there too. And hopefully eventually we get to hear that from Justice.
Yeah, the drum beats have all been ripped off of YouTube. Sadly. But the rest is pretty original. I'd say so.
Yeah, I think there's a limited amount of beats.
Oh, yeah.
On the drum set where it's like it's hard to be original. You know what I mean? Because it's not like you're playing melodies exactly on the drum set.
I see what you're saying.
Though you can, but
yeah, it's hard to like call a 4/4 beat your own if it's super simple.
Exactly. I mean, there's the basic rock beat that every drummer learns at some point in their education or career, and the boom, 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 boom. You know, it's hard to get away from, and but it works.
Would you say that the Purdy Shuffle, that's completely licensed by him?
I don't know if there is some sort of licensing, but that's a good question, actually. I mean, I think at this point, it's probably public domain. But I don't know if you can like copyright a drum beat. But anyways, so what kind of bands have you played in the past?
Oh yes.
Besides Subatomic Hero.
So the first band I ever played in was I think it was junior year of high school. My friend Joe and I, super low quality. I think we were trying to be My Chemical Romance before we even knew what that really was. We played in our English class and totally just bombed it. We just practiced one time in our garage that day. We felt really proud about it. But looking back at it, it was super cringy and everything. But then throughout the years, played in like folk type groups, rock bands, like pseudo metal. I don't know if you'd call that like neo metal or something like that. But everything from that to like world music, as far as like school groups go.
Yeah.
I was in this real shit fucking group. They're called the Shooks or something like that.
Oh, fucking A.
That was probably the worst time of my life, dude. Honestly, there's like, I don't know, man. It's just a bad vibe all around.
Yeah,
man.
I can't even believe that they tried to play.
Yeah.
What did they play? 2 shows?
I have no idea. I mean, they kept hitting me up every single day on Facebook trying to get me to go to shows, trying to get me to play with them, and they wouldn't even let me play my native instrument, you know?
Yeah, what the fuck?
So, yeah, I had a couple rehearsals with them, and, you know, you don't really look back at those types of things, you know. Just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and
But I'm with this new cool group now. We're called Subatomic Hero.
Right.
Pretty new. We're gonna run this town within the year. Honestly.
Nice, dude. Fuck yeah.
We've been described as a mix between Radiohead and Iggy Azalea. So.
Iggy Azalea. Nice, yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
Okay.
You know, you'd have to hear it.
I like her shit, dude. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, bands come and go, but this one, I think it's gonna stick, honestly.
Hell yeah, man. Well, it's good to have that confidence and just do it, you know?
Yeah, man. I love everyone I play with. We're all really great friends. But you know, with these current times, it's hard to, you know, schedule a practice. You know, everything's over Zoom, which I'm assuming everyone has been in touch with at least once. So yeah, we're just constantly working on new stuff on our own time and trying to come up with fun little things for the audience, our fans to watch from time to time.
Right.
This is one of those things.
Yeah. So when did you start playing music? And you know what really inspired you to start playing music as well?
Right. So I would say that entirely is it's due to my grandpa. He's the music guy in our family. He plays everything that you can think of genre-wise. It's like classical, reggae, swing, folk, all in guitar. He's a guitar guy, the same as me. But
right.
It was summer of 2006, and for whatever reason, Green Day was getting some serious airtime that summer. And the anthem was Holiday. I don't know if you've heard Holiday.
Yeah, on holiday.
Exactly.
Something like that, right?
Starts off with that fucking really cool little intro, the little riff in the beginning.
It's like a bass line, right? Yeah.
And it was that summer I got that album for my birthday. I was just blasting all the time. It was on the radio.
Nice.
And up until that point, my grandpa had always been just bugging me, like, I can teach you. And for whatever reason, like little, 11-year-old me, I just thought music was kind of lame. I don't know why, but none of my friends were doing it.
Yeah.
I wasn't really into music.
Right.
I mean, 11 years old, this is not really like the biggest thing in your life, I guess. But
for sure.
I had this song that I really loved. And I came home one day from school, and he was sitting there in the living room playing it. And he's like, I could teach you how to do this, man. Cool. Okay. So he whipped out a little karaoke amp, which is definitely not made for guitars or anything like that. I still had the 1/4-inch in and everything. And my mom's old, I think it was like a Strat knockoff or something like that. But that night we went through Iron Man, we went through some Deep Purple, and obviously Holiday and everything,
Nice. All in one night?
All in one night. I don't know what was in the water that day, but it was just like, could not put it down,
Fuck yeah.
And then from then on, it was just like on my own time, we're making up weird little funky ideas up until college, which was obviously like a number of years later when I actually had instruction and everything.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a long time coming, man. To this day, I couldn't play Holiday if you asked me.
For sure, man. I mean, there's plenty of songs that I don't think I could play anymore when I first started playing music. But we all need those songs. Did your grandpa, did he get down on the Holiday? Was he like...
Dude, he's amazing. Yeah. He's fingerstyle, he has the pick, he has, the rhythmic aspect to it. He's just, whatever you put in front of him, it's his song,
Nice.
So, obviously, he blew me out of the water with that and just had to do something about it. And honestly, I don't know what I'd be doing with my life if I hadn't said yes that day, Probably be just like a fucking maintenance worker or something like that.
So this was the day that shaped Justice Suina.
Yeah, I gotta stop you there. It's Suina.
Suina.
You said it in the intro. I'm sorry. I didn't want to ruin the flow of it.
My bad. Gosh. Well, hey, we all fuck up a little bit here and there.
Yes, that was the day that shaped everything.
Justice Suina became a musician.
Yes.
And so, your grandpa, see, he still plays around town, right?
Oh yeah, he's still in it. He's doing lessons. He's playing with different groups.
Nice.
His main love is reggae.
Oh, really?
So
cool.
I've seen him play all over the place. He's played here actually in this park. Like summer festivals and everything.
Nice.
It's really cool meeting like a number of his bandmates and everything. They're all really nice people, and I've sat in with them a couple of times, and it's a really great time. I mean, you and I we played around, but there's a lot of different avenues you can go. A lot of different people you can meet and everything.
Yeah.
But those folks on his end are kind of more of the older crowd, I'd say. A little bit more seasoned.
Right.
In playing at least in Denver and everything.
Live performance. A lot of live performance, I'm sure. And
there's like 30 years of experience there, probably 30 plus, honestly.
Yeah. So you got it in your blood.
I would hope so.
Yeah. I would
diabetes.
say. I mean, you got a good ear. I would say,
Thanks,
most
man.
definitely, pick things up really, really fast. And
I do my research.
Yeah, it shows.
I can only play in C major though, which I know that puts a constraint on you as the songwriter.
Yeah, but we kind of pretend like it's okay, and we just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest guy in the whole group. You gotta cut me some slack, right?
That's true. I guess you are the youngest. When were you born?
1995, July 22nd.
Oh, 95. So okay, you're a couple years younger.
My birthday's coming up.
July 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
25, ripe young age, 25.
Nice, dude.
Mm-hmm. Quarter century.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah.
I'm about to turn 27 myself.
There you go.
May 29th. So, interesting fact about Justice. So you're 100% Native American.
That is very true.
And you come from two different tribes, right?
Right. So I come from Mescalero Apache and Cochiti Pueblo. Okay. So that's in Arizona and New Mexico.
Okay. And
they're both kind of like northern regions and everything. So.
Nice.
Yeah, the farther south you go, the more natives you see.
Yeah.
But obviously, a little farther north is in Denver. It's really like hit or miss if you see anyone that's native. If you don't know, just friends or anything like that moved here and everything.
Yeah.
But
it is super rare these days.
Yeah, we recently, Corona kind of fucked it up, but we have this thing called Denver March Powwow.
Okay.
Which that's over at the Coliseum, Denver Coliseum.
Nice.
And that brings tribes, people from just all corners of the states, sometimes from overseas and everything. It's just a huge gathering, powwow, food, vendors, and just,
that's awesome.
General camaraderie and everything. I was going to work it, honestly.
Yeah.
But, everything got shut down and everything,
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that is unfortunate, but that is cool that there's still like a thriving community that gets together.
True.
I don't think a lot of people and their like background cultures practice that enough, Like, I'm a lot Norwegian, and I used to go to this thing with my grandpa, and it was like a Norwegian kind of clubhouse kind of thing.
Nice.
And but once he passed away, it just I didn't, and it wasn't really a big thing to go to in the first place. It was just like they had it at the VFW or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
the clubhouse is just like a gathering.
Yeah. But
I've got some Norwegian friends.
Nice.
To introduce you, huh? Maybe you could be in our band.
Yeah. So how did that culture, if any, how has that inspired your like music?
That's a good question. I would say because native music in itself doesn't really lend itself to the instruments that we play nowadays.
Right.
There's no electric bass or electric guitar, drum sets. It really just revolves around the voice and just a large drum.
Right.
You know. So I would say, if you've ever heard it, it's a pretty energetic form of music. There's a lot of meaning behind it, a lot of significance. And bringing that into my own music, I would say it's just trying to recreate that sense of significance and energy through my own medium, you know, as best as I can, you know. Yeah, it's just representing your people, representing where you come from the best you can.
Right.
And as far as I know, I've yet to meet many other Native musicians besides the friends that I have here. Right. I think just, you know, owning it and, you know, getting yourself out there and representing yourself as, you know, who you are, whether you're Norwegian or Native American.
Totally.
You know, you just gotta do your best for yourself and try to bring some positivity back to your people and everything, you know?
For sure, man. Yeah, that's awesome. There is like a certain kind of energy that, like, it's like the cry of America, you know?
True.
And I think that, like, translated into blues music too a little bit with, you know, like, you know, with black people in America as well, maybe a little bit. And I think because they used to do those powwows down in like Fort Louis too. It was like, I think it was at the end of the year, right?
Sure.
But yeah, there's an energy about it it's pretty crazy, and it's cool. You know? There's kind of like a movement in some like European, more like even Norwegian rock bands that are just kind of like fascinated by the Native American culture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they use like Native American music in their music nowadays. I couldn't give you a good example, but I'd have to go back and ask my other bandmate because he knows more about it. But
in my mind, and definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but Norwegian music kind of doesn't that center more around like metal, maybe like death metal. I don't know. Just like I just hear a lot of bands coming out of that region being kind of like more hardcore and everything like that.
Right. Yeah. There's like the whole Norwegian death metal thing, and I don't know if it originated in Norway, to be honest, but I think a lot of metal music came out of Norway.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I don't know if we can call it our own exactly. I don't personally know where it stemmed from.
Oh, okay.
But
that's interesting that we both knew about that, because that means that it's a common idea.
Right. Yeah. So you took lessons from your grandpa, and then you furthered your education with music in college and stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of musicians, including myself, like I took a lot of lessons into here and there growing up, but a lot of like my own sound came from self-discovery. So
sure,
explain what that process has been like for you.
Well, I think it kind of lends itself to the idea there's no bad sound, there's no bad idea if it's original, I would say.
Right.
You know, someone's gonna like what you made.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think that was the case for me in the early years. 2010 plus. You know, just messing around with whatever it may be. You know, creating riffs, creating that kind of thing. I never really tried to emulate any direct sound or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was more just like you hear a melody in your head, you know, you try to work it out, and then you see where you can go from there.
Right.
I hype it up a little bit, but I just the other day listened to these recordings and it's like, oof.
Yeah.
You know, you got to start somewhere, you know.
Totally, man.
But anymore, what I try to work on nowadays is pretty directly related to what I learned in school, as far as like the classical style, and I hardly play with a pick anymore, which obviously that that translates to the bass and everything, and
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, my current education definitely impacted the way that I play nowadays, whether it's the jazz lessons that I've taken and everything.
Right.
But basically, it's just like getting that dexterity over both of your hands,
Right.
and then from there you're able to play whatever you could put your mind to and everything.
Totally. I mean, it's good to have like that technical skill, and then also at the same time, like what you were saying earlier, and one of my favorite drummers, he says this, Jojo Mayer. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I don't think so.
He's like a really big jazz guy. He's from Switzerland originally, I think, and then he like moved to New York, and he was kind of just doing that, and now he has his own thing. It's called Nerve, and he's like the first guy to ever play like acoustic drum and bass music.
Acoustic drum and bass music.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And he just like, some people call him the shaman of drumming. It's just his flow and his technique is just so smooth. And anyways, one of the favorite things that I like that he says is like, I think sometimes as musicians, like especially in an educated world, like we're so focused on how much technique is important, which it is, but I think overall it's the sound that we're trying to get. And so if you have to break some rules to like get that sound, then like that's totally okay.
I see what you're saying.
And like you were saying too, like there's always a niche crowd for any kind of music out there. Like anyone can really make it in the music world as long as they find that crowd. You know what I mean? And I've had that experience with a lot of my prior music and current music that that we're making now. Like obviously not everyone's gonna love it, but someone's gonna like it.
So far a lot of people like it.
Enough people like it at least, so
they're in like with it.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up in Denver on the west side, as well as like the music scene around you?
The music scene around me. So I'd say I really got exposed to the music scene obviously when you turn 18, right. Probably maybe like 16 to 18 is when you're able to go to concerts and everything. Back then it was a lot of rock bands, I would say. The 5 Points Jazz Festival was really cool. That's all ages though.
Right.
I think back then it was more just like Pepsi Center shows.
Nice. Warped Tour? Did you go to Warped Tour?
Warped Tour. It started for me at Comfort Dental Amphitheater. It used to be Fiddler's Green.
Yeah.
Even if you remember that.
Yeah.
That was where I saw System of a Down for the first time.
Oh, nice.
That was, for the only time. That was like in middle school. Nice. My friend Sid and I, and we were just like little youngsters going to this fucking like hard ass metal show. We started off in the worst seats way back there. And all these people saw that we were just like rocking out the entire time. And then they hoisted us over the barricade into the pit. And we just lived out the rest of that experience just on top of the world. There's maybe like 5 inches of rain that accumulated that night in the pit, as it just turned up this nasty mud. My friend got knocked over face down into this mud, and it was just getting jostled around, and I didn't see him for a long time.
Oh shit.
Dude almost drowned at this concert.
Oh shit.
And eventually, someone saw him, and this big burly dude, just tattoos everywhere, just one arm, just picks up this little 70-pound kid and everything.
Right.
Tossed him right back to the front and everything.
Yeah.
That was my first experience, one of my first experiences with the music scene around here. Nice. Anymore, I'm getting into the local scene with being in this band and everything, meeting different artists and seeing them actually play and everything, going to DIY spots and playing at kind of or maybe just like bars, that whole thing,
Yeah.
It seems like it was thriving. Obviously, it's not now.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, it would be given a better circumstance. It definitely had some momentum and everything. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to be seen out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like Denver has really blown up as of late, and has been blowing up. I think one of the first examples of local music was like the Fray.
Oh yeah. I know where that guy lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Lives down the street from here, right?
He lives in the Highlands, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know one of them lives like in Wash Park area.
Yeah, we'll go check it out after this. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down.
But the Fray, that was like one of the first big Colorado acts that came out.
Yeah.
There's like the Lumineers too, huh?
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I think, well, obviously the Fray was like a little bit before like we were even able to be part of, the live scene.
Sure.
But the Lumineers, they just came out of fucking nowhere. At least for me. But I guess I wasn't really involved with like the folk scene in Denver, so I just, I never saw them. But
same with more of a recent guy, Nathaniel Rateliff.
Right. Yeah.
He was. I mean, before all this, I know I keep saying that, but
Yeah.
He was. He's getting up there and everything.
Totally. Yeah. And yeah, he definitely paid his dues. It sounded like. I actually know his trumpet player.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wesley Watkins. Really,
cool guy.
Really talented.
Yeah.
He has another band called The Other Black now, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it's pretty cool. Check it out.
Okay.
So, other than that, like, like, what kind of music was being played around you? Like, what did your grandpa play?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what did your mom? What was like the household music?
The household music.
Yeah.
I would say it was featured a lot around funk, a lot around R&B,
Nice.
Reggae, and then sprinkled in with some folk.
Nice.
So there's a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire, a lot of Marvin Gaye, Steel Pulse on the reggae end. Obviously, like Bob Marley and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, my folks are they're a treasure trove when it comes to, appreciation of the really good acts of, yesteryear and everything,
Totally.
But besides that, if they weren't actually playing records, they were literally playing music themselves.
Right.
Which, that may have been like original stuff or covers, there was always sound.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like an all-encompassing thing, They didn't really chastise any one genre of music, but there was definitely emphasis on, kind of the more R&B area of things, especially growing up in like the early 2000s as, a little kid, that's kind of the heyday for, those hip-hop songs that we all know and love,
Yeah.
I still, like, every time I hear one of those songs, like, I don't know, R. Kelly, like, what is that? Is that Big Sean? Beautiful Girls by Sean Kingston.
Okay.
You know that song. Just like those summertime bops,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those are a constant in my house, obviously.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I think everyone has an appreciation for those,
Oh, yeah, I mean, hip-hop and R&B especially, I think, like most musicians, if not most people, really identify with that sound for sure.
It just gets you moving,
Yeah, it does, and it's just
memorable.
Yeah. And it shows in your playing too, especially in your bass playing.
True.
So, and that's that's a good foundation for any song.
So. Yeah. So, it wasn't really any one specific you know, we're only listening to Latin jazz.
Yeah.
This is a Latin jazz household.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bit of everything, you know.
That's cool, man. And
Yeah.
it's cool when you have that, like, and you find those, like, niche bands that you just, like, never even knew existed. You know, there's
Exactly.
so much music out there. I was even listening to another music podcast earlier today, and then, you know, you're like, oh man, there's like this whole other like family of bands out there, like within one genre that you never knew about. And like I even went through some of my dad's old records. Like, it's been a while, but like about 10 years ago I found out about it, and it's just like the weirdest shit ever out there, you know, just all this 70s rock music that is just like doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, just tapes on tapes on tapes, you know, B-sides.
Yeah.
You know, things you'd never find if it wasn't physically in their collection.
Yeah, and just like another part of it that was really cool to me was just like the weird artwork that was going on for album covers, for like vinyl covers during that time, during like the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, you know. Anyways, so what are your biggest, and when it comes to your own playing, like, besides what we just all talked about, what are some of your biggest influences?
Well, if we're talking about bass, I would have to say what I found recently that really inspires me is this guy called FKJ, French Kiwi Juice. He's this really prolific, he's just an all-around musician.
Okay.
But I'm saying that because he's a really amazing bass player. He kind of has that groove that just, you know, fits in with any rhythmic section and everything, you know. It's kind of like a modern twist on, you know, kind of the old classics and everything. I'm sure, you know, you've heard a little bit of you've probably heard one of their songs, but
okay. French Kiwi Kiss, you said?
French Kiwi Piss. Yes. French Kiwi Juice. French Kiwi Juice.
Okay, yeah.
FKJ.
FKJ,
but
okay.
Obviously, you gotta pay homage to like the masters like Victor Wooten.
Oh yeah,
you know,
of course.
obviously, you know, that guy is just, you know, ridiculous. I mean, you look at his technique and you think to yourself, yeah, I got like 10 years to practice, you know, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
But I think what's inspiring about him, besides, you know, just his level of, you know, excellence on, you know, mastering his instrument, is just the energy that he's able to produce, you know, just a genuine acceptance of what music is and letting that flow from his inner self through his instrument to us, you know. Totally. I think that's what makes any group, any artist really stand out from the others, is if they can actually bring that level of just personal intensity to their music. What you can tell isn't just, you know, something to be mass produced or anything like that, you know.
Yeah, it's a piece of your soul that you've learned to implement into your music.
Sure.
I think that's when your music becomes more like people, they're more thirsty for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, you hear it live, you hear it through, you know, recordings, you know, that's what's going to stand the test of time and everything, you know.
Right.
But if we're talking about guitar, I'd say this new guy, his name is Tom Misch. I think he's out of London.
Okay.
But he's actually played with FKJ a number of times too. But he's just got a real sense of, just got a really great touch, you know, a sense of melody. You can just tell he's practiced for ages. I'd suggest, you know, taking a listen and everything.
Yeah.
But for a long time too, I was really influenced by this guy's name is Christian Mattson. He's it's a solo act, the tallest man on earth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
I love it. I love Tallest Man on Earth.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him live. It's basically just like this real intricate fingerstyle on top of what you would assume would be like some getting distracted here by this, by like a southern singer, but this guy's from, I think it's from Sweden.
Yeah, he is from like Sweden or Norway, one of those
northern European areas, but that's just another example of someone who's put in the time, has the natural inclination towards music, and just lets it flow, you know?
Totally.
That was really inspiring for a long time. Specifically the song Leading Me Now, which is really great. I'd suggest you take a listen to that.
Yeah, I know exactly the song you were thinking about. I've actually personally myself have been, just in the past few weeks or month really, have been really jamming The Tallest Man on Earth, and like I really love that his live performances translate so well to what is going on in his like actual albums too.
True.
Where or even better than his actual albums. I think that happens a lot with really good artists. Talented artists is like their live performances are just even better for some reason.
Exactly. Just take it to that next level.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's a little bit of the adrenaline. But for sure. I was literally about to say the same thing about him. It's like he really figured out how to, like, being a foreigner, he really figured out how to still have this like American folk voice.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. And he does it so well. And I've heard other like foreigners try to do like sing in an American accent, and it doesn't always work that well.
I mean, you could never tell the difference. Honestly, everyone who I've shown The Tallest Man on Earth thinks that he's from the down south, something like that. You know.
Yeah.
But now this guy's like completely different state of mind and everything, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Speaks 2 languages. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, I can hardly speak one.
Yeah, I feel you. But yeah, there's a lot of influences out there. That's just only naming a few and everything, you know?
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother conversation.
So in terms of like, other than just instrument influences, like what overall like bands, albums, songs, what are your favorite things in that realm?
So I've thought about this a lot over the years, because you know you'll have people ask you what's your favorite song, what's your favorite band,
right.
And obviously, you know, with access to music that we have nowadays, you know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint one specific band that you can say like this is my favorite, but which is the same for me. But I've created kind of just like a go-to 5 that I go, you know, obviously I associate with my favorite bands.
Right.
One of them, which was kind of early on, they're called Beirut. They're still kicking. I saw them live in Santa Fe, where, you know, obviously I'm from. That was one of my favorite concerts ever. The Tallest Man on Earth, which I just mentioned. Animal Collective. That was basically my that was my high school.
Get out of here, lady.
It's still my everything. Animal Collective.
Okay.
System of a Down. That's another one of my favorite all-time bands.
Nice.
And then as of late, I've really gotten into the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh yeah, that's
I
good,
love
man.
the Arctic Monkeys. I don't know, they just like they've evolved a lot throughout the years.
They have.
And the early stuff is really, really rocking. Mid stuff is super artistic. And nowadays it just seems like it's just going a whole different direction and everything, you know?
Yeah.
And also I gotta add a 6th one, Radiohead. I was a big Radiohead fan.
Okay.
I know every song. Also the Beatles, you can't.
Totally.
You gotta talk about the Beatles. I think for me personally, I just go through, I don't know, 3-4 month stretches where I'll just focus on one band and that one band alone.
Yeah.
And all the bands I just mentioned. You know, that's like 7 years of just being obsessed with one specific group.
Totally.
But anymore, it's like, it's the Monkeys, I'd say.
Yeah, Arctic Monkeys for sure. It took me a really long time to grow into the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh yeah, I feel you.
But once I got it, I got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, and that happens with a lot of bands. Like, sometimes there's that band that you just, like, automatically are like, fuck yeah, I'm about it.
So yeah.
And then there's the other bands that both Tallest Man and On Earth and Arctic Monkeys took me a while.
It grew on you?
They grew on me, but I think those are some of the most lasting, you know.
And Carly Rae Jepsen.
Okay, I don't know her.
Miley Cyrus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus. There you go, man.
Yeah. Rebecca Black.
And then the Beatles, what I learned to love about the Beatles personally is how they really were progressive for their time.
Yep.
And I think, like, if the term was around back then, they would even be considered math rock. Just because they did a lot of odd time signature stuff and they did, like, key modulation stuff. I don't think they always did it on purpose. Or, like, maybe not, they didn't do it on purpose, but they didn't, like, know the theory behind it. They just kind of did it.
It's very true. I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that started around their more progressive curve, their turn towards progressivity, were around like Rubber Soul, leading into Revolver.
Okay.
And then obviously Sgt. Pepper's, that's just like a completely different, if you look at like Help compared to Sgt. Pepper's, you know?
Okay, yeah, I mean, I really have to go more through the Beatles discography because there was a long time where I was just like, oh, it's the Beatles, like, everyone loves the Beatles, but they have so much music.
I know, it's really hard to keep track, right?
It's so hard. Okay, what have you been listening to most recently?
Most recently?
Just give me one example of some, like a new band or something.
Yeah, so this, I saw this band recently. They're called Scarlord. It's this one guy, Scarlord, and basically, it's this guy from England, and he has like really like screamo on top of these like trap beats.
Okay.
It's really in your face, honestly.
Nice.
I saw this concert and everyone was just going nuts. I'd say I'd liken them to maybe Prodigy, if you think about like the heaviness that they bring.
Okay.
And then let's see, who's really screaming out there? Maybe like Black Dahlia Murder.
Right.
Yeah.
You
think about just like mixing hip hop and metal.
Totally, yeah.
You get Scarlord.
I've always liked that idea. And I think, what is it, like Amir? Did you ever listen to Amir?
I don't think so, no.
They kind of did that. They're kind of a little bit more old school, but they kind of did like the metal screamo thing mixed with rap and hip hop. And
that's Amir?
Amir, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, check them out. I think their earlier discography, like they did that, but later on they kind of moved away from it for some reason and just solely became hip hop.
I think one person to mention that we both appreciate that, you know, the listener should check into is Leon La Havas.
Oh, yeah.
This singer, I think she's from England, or at least Europe as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Real sultry, real, you know, melodic. Leon La Havas.
Yeah, Leon Havas is another.
Check her out. It's worth it.
Yeah, she's definitely an artist that Justice and I have bonded over. So, yeah, we're getting close to the end of
the world.
The world here. No, maybe so. What are the craziest like stories that you've had encountered, or like maybe like some funniest stories like in the music scene, or like maybe like a concert you went to, or maybe a concert you played, you know, like.
That's a very good question. We talking sober or unsober?
Doesn't matter
at all. I think just if you just mix psychedelics and concerts, it's bound to be a good time, given you're around good people and in a nice setting and everything. But I totally disassociated from my body at a concert recently. It wasn't any sort of like specific group. It's more just like a DJ set and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, just getting lost in the environment. You know, it's so easy to do and it's so just enjoyable and everything. You know.
Yeah.
But I'd say also too, what I mentioned earlier, my friend almost drowning in the pit, which was pretty crazy as well.
Yeah.
I got a pic. It was actually at the Tallest Man on Earth concert. That was maybe like 4 years ago.
Okay.
I was super looking forward to like catching the pic because it's one of his things, I guess, is he throws the little thumb pic that he has, you know, just like rock stars do and everything. Totally. And I must have taken the look to the left. It just totally like bounced right off my head onto the floor, and some other person.
Someone else
like,
got it.
Dusted off, just pocketed it. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean, most concerts that I go to anymore, it's just like you're either super in it or you're super disassociated.
Totally, man.
Which I don't know if that's not admitting too much, but you know what I'm saying.
Let's just say you were having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to go to a concert nowadays. Man, it's been so long. It's been like 3 months, you know?
Yeah, dude. It's been a while. There's something about just the live experience that you can't get anywhere else. And like all these artists are doing like these live, like Facebook Live and YouTube Live and Instagram Live, and it's cool. I've seen some cool ones, but there's something about like feeling the ground vibrate.
Yeah, exactly. Just being around all those people.
Yeah, just being part of the energy and stay tuned, and we might be announcing some sort of
announcement,
musical get together, quote unquote, here in the Denver area. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll be talking about that soon.
Oh yeah.
So this doesn't have to be particularly music related, but what is inspiring you most today as a musician?
As a musician?
Yeah. But it doesn't have to do with anything about music if you don't want it to be, but
I would say obviously the changing of the seasons is always inspiring. Coming out of a winter into spring.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
Obviously it's kind of an awakening. You're able to experience more in your own life, being out there in the world, which obviously gives you more fuel to write about. It's really hard to write during the winter if you're just constantly cold and inside, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of reach that writer's block, which I'm sure we've all experienced at one point. Yeah. I think too, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Obviously, this will be the last time I mention this, but the pandemic, that's a pretty big piece of influence that everyone, every single musician has been impacted by that, like right now.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's living in isolation, not knowing what's going to happen tomorrow, is your family safe? You know, it's really up to you to make light of that, try to bring some sort of awareness to that through music.
Right.
I think for me, music has offered me sort of an escapism to this environment that we're in, you know, because you can get lost watching the news, you know, going through news feeds, you know, all of these atrocities that are happening, or you can go and just fool around with some open tunings on your guitar.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Yes, so we are in a public environment, and that's definitely bound to happen.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to kind of figure out, like, maybe just move that way, but whatever, it's part of the podcast now. And
anyway, I mean, you know, at least no one wants to be, you know, down in the dumps all the time, you know, and it's really easy to be in that state of mind nowadays. So I think we've got two great things going for us right now. these wonderful, beautiful days that we have, and just the ability to create as musicians, whether you're an artist or writer, whatever it may be within your own life. You have all this time on your hands.
Right, man. And
you got to stay optimistic.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd say that's a source of real influence in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's totally understandable. And I think this whole thing was super scary at first, especially for the band, because like we were about to go and play South by Southwest.
Headlining,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was just an opening slap, but and like we'd only really played a couple shows in Denver before that, so it really felt like we were making moves fast. But
yeah, true.
And then it felt like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? But we really do have so many options these days, this day and age, and like it's so easy to like market yourself online. Maybe not so easy, but it's a lot easier to do it as an individual.
Yeah.
Instead of having to have like a record label or something.
True.
Like spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing and promotion and stuff like that. And we have the option to do that ourselves now, which is really cool.
Which we are doing.
Yeah. Cool, man. I mean, that just about brings us to the end of section 1 here. Is there anything else you want to talk about, like in this realm of music here? Any gear that you've really been stoked on? Maybe some tech?
I've recently invested in a Boss. I think it's Boss 98. It's a loop pedal.
Nice.
That's really opened up some avenues for myself. It's only a single channel, so you can record something over it. It's just really fun to play around with.
Nice.
You can plug a bass into it, guitar, whatever it may be. I think that also has kind of changed my way of thinking of how to write songs and everything,
Right.
Because, you can have just a backing track that you did yourself and then be able to noodle over it, which that's really fun as well, But I would say, I don't know, if you have an inclination towards music, you think your child does, there's nothing wrong, there's no harm at all in introducing them to an instrument, whatever it may be.
Totally.
It's worthwhile. I know, speaking for myself, and I'm sure that you agree, it's changed my life. It's made me a better person.
Right. Totally.
A creative outlet is always, a positive thing in my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just really fun connecting with people in the same mindset. There's few things in my life where I can work with others and create something, as beautiful as what we've already created,
Totally.
So,
yeah.
I don't know, if you feel like picking up an instrument, make it happen. It's worth it.
Totally. It's totally doable. And like Justice said, like if you're a parent too, like, even if it's drums, even if they want to pick up drums, like, there's so many cool, like, fucking electronic drum sets out there days. Like, you don't have to get, like, the super loud acoustic drum set, I played on, like, little, just, like, boxes that I made at home for a while, growing up, and then tell the parents, were like, all right, well, we'll buy you a cheap drum set, Seems like you really want to do it, and it is possible to make it in the music world. There's so many options, so keep looking forward, guys.
Plus, it's just fun.
Yeah, overall, it's just a fucking great time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we musicians still do it. And like you said, it's just that sense of connection too. And I believe at least, like, that's the most powerful thing about music is how it connects people.
And it's a universal language too.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Everyone can understand a rhythm, a melody.
Yeah.
Regardless of what language you speak.
Yeah.
All around the world, such significance is put into music.
Yeah. It really is. Well, that brings us to the end of section 1 here, guys. Thank you for listening to Heady Set Go.
Near the pond.
Near the pond. Here at Wash Park. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.